Hello, welcome to our beach adventure through minis. And so this is a 12-day adventure. There's going to be 12 videos. And this is the very first one. Today is day one. And if you pre-ordered and decided to open on the schedule, and then this is day one. And it's the first day of Christmas. So I know you're probably very busy, but Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And if you're opening early or some other time, well, whatever, do you. So I wanted to talk about generally how this particular year is going to go. Last year I did Santa Fe. This year I'm doing different beaches. And so it's kind of on the themes of Christmas. This is on like romance and surfing and sand and shells and sun and water and snorkeling and marine life and all that kind of thing. And there'd be different beaches that we'll be visiting. It is not a comprehensive list at all. I was just trying to pick some really good inspirations. I'm also going to be talking sometimes about dye styles. So if you perhaps don't dig all the colors, then at least we can talk about like when you're shopping for yarn, if you are interested in the difference of how speckled or tonal or yarns dyed with resists or single color and around or double color and how that affects pooling. We can talk about that a little bit. I will open day one. If you already have, no problem. But here we go. This is day one. I did my kids have watched opening videos like before on YouTube, so I had to do my own little opening video. Day one. All right. Here is day one. It is called Sunset at Mallory Square. And I'll show you the inspiration photo in a second, but it is a sunset with shadows. And there's a little extra today. There's some little stitch markers I made up, and they're like little shells. They're little shells. See that? Little stitch marker shells. So you may or may not need these, but I wanted to give you a little extra for Merry Christmas. And I will show you the inspiration. I can share my screen properly. Here is my inspiration photo. This is a performer at Mallory Square on Key West. And hey, whenever you go to the beach, if it's at all facing west, you've got to be looking at the sunset, right? So I thought it would be appropriate to have a sunset one, so you can see the black of the shadows. And I wanted this nice orange and yellow color to give you definitely sunset vibes. Okay, so let me share with you just a little video or two quick. Let's see. There we go. Whoop. This is a video of sunset at Key West. And I won't make you watch the whole thing, but it kind of made me think about that. But I was actually talking about specifically Mallory Square, and I can show you the other video here. Whoops, I should stop that one so we don't have too much noise. That one's, it's a nice, very relaxing sunset video. So but then this one is kind of look, they have a sunset celebration at Mallory Square at Key West. And there's this guy, Tom Hall. He has a really nice video talking about how everyone goes to the sunset celebration. And yes, this is a bunch of people here. This was made in 2016, so pre-COVID. But of course they're also outside, whatever. And there's lots of performers, which is kind of what I focused on. And then look, there's people cutting open coconuts and selling your stuff and predicting your future. It just sounds like a fun thing to do if you go to Key West. I have not been to Key West, but it sounds like this would be amazeballs to go to. Okay, so that's my inspiration for day one, sunset. And all right, if you are knitting this in fingering, I'm sending you this pattern, Coral Coast Wrap by Amba O'Brien. If you're doing it in something else or your crochet, then I will have sent you something else. I am going to be knitting mine along in this only because most of you are knitting and figuring, and I thought this was a nice pattern. It is designed for 12, 20 gram minis. So pretty cool. And it is knit lengthwise. So you do, it's a long cast on, which is the one kind of negative maybe people don't really like, but that's one reason why I give you a couple stitch markers. So you can do the really long cast on, and I'm going to show you how to do one particular cast on that you might like in a minute, but maybe those stitch markers will help you with that. And also each section is kind of like a different lace pattern. So, you could learn some interesting lace patterns and interesting patterns. So you could follow along, even if you're not knitting this one. So I think today I'm going to show you how to do my cast on. I may or may not always have like a little how-to video for each of these 12 days, but if the one is appropriate, then I will show it to you. This I've already knit up. The first section which is just a simple lace mesh kind of repeat. I used a kitchen scale and was able to actually get one more repeat out of my 20 grams. So that may or may not be the case if you want to just make it as wide as possible or whatever. All right, so I will show you, if I can get the technical stuff right, how to do this knitted cast on as opposed to long tail, because 301 stitches is what you need to cast on. And that's a lot for a long tail. So I'm going to show you how to do, I can't remember if it's called knitted cast on or cable cast on, but I'll show you. You can use that if you like. So let me switch cameras. Okay. And yeah, that's not a good background. So that's a different background. And on the end of my yarn here. Okay, so there is my tail, just a little tail to weave in later, as opposed to something really long. And I'm going to use my needles that I was already using. I do have a long cord, but you don't need your cord to be as long, nearly as long as the length of this. So longest cord you got, maybe. This is US 4s, I think. I can't remember. I think that's what the pattern called for. Okay, so ignore this stuff down there. There. I only have a really short tail. I put on my slip knot. And for this cast on, all I need to do is make sure I grab my working yarn and not the tail, which is short, thankfully. And you're just going to knit that slip knot as normal. Okay, I'm knitting it. I'm not going to take it off the left-hand needle. I'm going to twist it and put it on. Okay, now I have two. And I'm simply just going to repeat that until I have 301 stitches. So I need to knit that like kind of as normal, which is a little fiddly when you only have a couple. Okay, and I have it. And then look, I'm twisting it so that it turns when I put it on the other needle. So I'm knitting it, not taking it off the left-hand needle, and then twisting it. And then once you get the hang of it, it shouldn't take super long. Try not to make it too tight, obviously, because cast-ons and cast-offs, we don't like them tight. So make it loose if you can. There, I did just a bunch. And that leaves you a better edge than if you did like the backwards loop cast on. It's closer to like the stretchiness of a long tail. You can do whatever cast on you like, but this one worked out well for me. See, you just knit it as normal. Don't take it off the left-hand needle, but twist it to put it on the left-hand needle. You just keep going until you have 300 of them. And those little stitch markers, you could, like, after you get 100, you could put a stitch marker in there, and that will help you. Switch my camera back. Okay, so hopefully that little tip will help you if you happen to be knitting this pattern. Amba, I hope I'm saying her name right, has a bunch of patterns for minis. So if you don't like this one, there's others out there because she does stuff for advent calendars. And I hope you guys are having a Merry Christmas. And I will see you with day 2. So have a great day. Bye.